So are Christian women who are so sad.
Miserable, yes.
Miserable.
The difference is...
And miserable.
The difference is with the Christians, you know, they have wives, and they have all those concubines that people don't know. And it goes on. But, I mean,
and don't give their wives the rights of the wife.
So which really is...
But then you're allowed to wake up in the morning and wear whatever you want. Sometimes the covering of the face and everything is a bit much.
But a Muslim woman tells you she doesn't mind. Saudat just left with her head covered.
So told us that the point is a function of what you want. Now, it brings me back to what feminism really is. Can we address that issue?
Okay, you know, maybe it's easier to actually say what feminism is.
Do you want to give me my glasses before she crushes it? Yes. Yeah, just relax, Renee, relax, don't worry.
Because if it follows me everywhere, you can say what it is not, then
verify that it's not.
It is. We've already said that it is not trying to be men. Is it trying to have the responsibilities and roles of a man? That's what it is not. Even though
but some women want the roles and responsibilities of a man.
Okay, but is that right?
Now, if a wife
what she wants.
Okay, what's Renee saying? Although Renee didn't answer my question, is it really a matriarchal society?
I was going to say, being a matriarchal society, does it mean you're all feminists? Or you're
but I don't
not
think
feminist?
every part of Ghana is actually matriarchal. I think it's different.
No, I don't think. But sorry, I've got such a terrible cough.
It's okay.
Now,
can you offer us some water?
Can you believe it?
Can you be here? You're the small girl. Go and get the water, Joe.
Man, can I offer you a drink?
Water, thank you.
Okay, man. Coming up very soon.
Can you see this Ghanaian just talking like
Just checking.
Just talking.
You know how you know, between Ghana and Nigeria, we always say we speak better English than you guys do.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
You know, you
listen to how I'm speaking. No, not at all.
Are you going to get that water?
No, we
saying you're sorry about how we speak.
But you know, a lot of Nigerians think I'm Nigerian.
Yes, you're so like us. That's why with the curves, man. Those things don't happen anywhere else.
Yoruba in a Delta fighting over me. She's Delta now. She's Yoruba now. I was like, you know, I love you all.
But if you spoke 2 sentences, they would.
I would know.
Really?
Hair.
I can.
Jess.
I can say.
Just always gives you guys away.
Yeah.
No, but hair.
Yes.
I love hair. I love hair.
No, okay, but seriously, matriarchy. What is it really? Describe it.
Maybe I don't understand.
Your women seem to be like, you know...
Because in Ghana, women answer... There's a place in Ghana...
your mother's name. Is that true?
You can answer your mother's name?
Yes.
Like what? You could... What?
Her surname instead of your father's.
No,
your mother's family.
No, what it is, it depends on the tribe.
But your lineage.
You see, and we keep pushing
your
that.
mother.
No, not at all.
Tell us.
No. In some tribes, you would say you are your mother's tribe. You would take your father's name, but you say you are your mother's tribe and not your father's tribe.
If you're a girl or a boy.
If you're a girl or a boy.
Oh, really?
Yes, but you would take your father's name.
You
take, so for example, my father is an Ewe. No, I'll use my mother's side. So my mother's mother is a Fanti. My mother's father is a Kwewu. The Ashantis take the mother's side. So my mother will say she's a Fanti. She will not say she's a Kwewu. But she has her father's name.
Yes.
Do you see what I mean?
So what about you? So what are you?
I'm an Ewe. My father is an Ewe. They're the most beautiful women in Ghana.
So you think that
I hope you edit it.
Your mother is Fanti.
And my mom is Fanti.
But why didn't adopt being Fanti?
Because my father is not an Akan. My father is an Ewe. If you're an Akan, then you take both parents an Akan. Then you take your mother's side.
My father is an Ewe. Is it a tribe or?
Yes.
So it's a cultural thing she's saying.
I think it's a cultural thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you raised differently?
From Nigeria.
Girls are still suppressed differently.
You know what? I'll tell you. I think it's changed now. But growing up, there are some families that will give boys, their sons, more meat than girls.
It happens there too.
Do you understand? It's like you are the man. Now that's where the difference comes in with feminism and also with bringing up your sons to be good men in society, good husbands. Because in some homes, what they do is, you know, even if it's your older sister, she has to serve you your food. So yes,
I'm shocked.
Yes, I met a lady recently who was saying that her younger brother went to university. At the weekend, she had to pound fufu and soup, take it to her brother, bring his clothes home, wash it, iron it, and take it back.
And their parents educated.
Now listen, no, listen. I'm not saying it's right.
Yes.
I said I heard somebody saying this, you know. Now what it is they believe that a man has to be like, you have to serve a man. Now I'm married, I'm happily married. I do not mind serving my husband. But I think by choice. But I think that if, like, the man, like, you know, just says there, say, come and take my place away, come and do, and talks to you like that, like you're a servant, that's when I think it's wrong. But I love to serve him, and, you know, and he will thank me for my food all the time.
What if he doesn't thank you?
I don't mind.
You will still serve him?
No, it's something that I enjoy.
Yes, because
but it's also about, I love him so much that I want to do that for him. That is me.
So it's when everybody's drinking water. Is it say...
We're just all suddenly thirsty.
But, you know, a lot of...
Maybe
it's too deep. Please, cheers. No, let's see what we do about it, because it's too deep.
But when we talk about violence, militants, yes. I think that some things have to be addressed that
by
way.
fire, by force.
Yes, and whether you're a feminist or not.
Can you give an example of things that in our society that needs to be addressed like that?
Like the issue of the raping of the little girl.
Fair enough. Abuse.
You can't be quiet about that.
Yeah, but male and female. It shouldn't be a woman that will be quiet about that.
Women got together and fought. That's what I believe feminism is when, like you're saying, like we fight for our rights. I personally believe in, like, you know, female empowerment, loving yourself, being confident in yourself, and all
your
of
work
that.
is in that area.
You know, that's
empathy,
what. Do you understand? I really like that. You know, so that's why I'll say. So I don't like. I've met someone. I'm a feminist, and no nonsense from a man. And a lot of them even sometimes say that they will not marry. I've met some of them because they don't want. Yes, and that's the extreme. That's when I'll say I'm not a feminist, because I am not that kind. I don't think there's anything wrong with...
I'm with you, Renee. I told them I like doors being opened for me.
Step back. You know, when you are at the lift and the door opens, I like men to step back. I like men to get up when I walk into a room. I was raised like that.
Would you say, why are you giving me?
So if you like doors being opened for you, then he likes his pounded yam at 2 a.m.
That's an unreasonable request.
I'm just saying. Maybe that's an extreme example. But there's some things that the man likes. So if you're a traditional woman, there are things that you want your man to do for you. And as a traditional man, there are things that you want your wife to do. So I think there's a balance.
Did you just hear, Renee? I've been married 36 years. This year. And you heard Renee. When the cook is not there on Sunday, I actually set the tray and take my husband's tray to him.
But let me turn this around.
There's nothing wrong with that, though.
If a man chooses to be in the house, he becomes the house husband. Do you think African women will accept that?
Some.
Okay. Do you think? Because it's like we say we are feminists, but when the guy now decides to, you know what? I want to let you be. And pay all the bills. I'll be at home, I'll look after the kids. Now the women stop respecting those men.
No, you see, I believe... How long can you last?
It's not that.
Because men have a...
But I think
let's go one at a time. Okay.
See, abroad, if you have
India abroad?
Yes, India abroad, of the USA and the UK. If you have two people that have high-flying careers and they have childcare issues, they sit down and they say, who earns more? Is it to advantage for the person that earns less to stay at home and save me on childcare and all that? So if it's the woman that earns more, she goes to work and the husband starts to look after that. There's nothing wrong. We're both parents.
But I'm saying, how many African women can accept that?
Yeah,
I can accept it very easily if my money is more.
But maybe
and I know that I will come home and he has made my dinner.
You should accept.
Thank you. Be honest.
I bet you can make because Okay, wait. My ex-husband was a very good. He was a better cook than I was.
Yeah.
So I liked it when he made my dinner, and he liked to make dinner.
Please, Fumi, tell me, what's your brain saying?
In my brain, I like to look up to a man.
So if he's not working, that means he's not working.
If I am feeding him, and he's whining and asking me about money. It will sound like whining.
She's being honest.
I'm being honest. I am being honest. The practicality you just described sounds very logical. But we could start that, and then along the way, my brain is not reaching to those ideals. And I'm coming home.
Maybe I should ask you, would you be happy if your son got married to a girl and then the son becomes the one that's at home because they're being modern?
No, I would not.
Why?
Because I believe...
I would not, actually. I like myself.
Oh, look at that.
Lazy.
Look at that.
He wasn't raised like that.
So what is good at your generation is not good for your children's generation.
He needs to work.
Look, a woman will go to work and come home, and the man wouldn't have done everything that she would have done if he was home.
Yeah.
I know of a situation, and the woman, you know, the guy was working on contracts. He hasn't had a couple of contracts in a while, you know, fine. She's working very hard. But she works so hard, so she's paying everything, paying the bills, everything. But she comes home and he hasn't done what she would have done. Sometimes double work. Because he's sitting there, what he's eating, he's piling the plates and everything.
That's not fair now.
Waiting.
So that's
and he's a house husband.
He's a wicked man now. What is that? That's
okay, can I just tie this in? What it means is that, you know, though we would like to be appreciated, I don't know, you know, what I hear is, you know, but the man must still play his role. Now, she said something he doesn't know how. We're not raising our sons to know how to take care of themselves and their family if they have to.
Yes.
So for me, the true feminist is the one that raises her boy to understand that you're a boy by virtue of the fact that you have a P. Yes. Or call it PP. You know, I mean, yeah, what's the name? You know, I mean, you know, by virtue of fact, and I'm a girl because I have boobs. Whether you like it or not, they're there, and it won't change. But our brains are the same thing. Yeah. So, but these are our brains. I don't think we are ready for house husband yet. We say we want feminism, but we want to eat our cake and have it.
Our brains are not the same. The left brain function for the male is more prominent.
But you know,
it's
some
logical,
males have...
And the right brain function is more emotional.
It depends. In some guys, the left brain function is more... That's why you have some guys who are feminine.
And I'm
telling you, in some girls, the right brain...
In their mind, in their thinking...
Yes.
I like logic.
Everything. The now society allows them to... You know, the point is, you just think like a woman. Doesn't mean you have to act like a woman.
Yeah.
Okay, but can we... Okay, yeah, go on.
Sadly, our conversations have to round up very soon, but go ahead.
Do you believe that men and women are equal?
Yes.
No, I don't.
Okay, wait.
They're not equal at all.
I have to go by the spiritual angle now.
They are not equal. They are different.
Let me
but they have
why
equal.
I said yes.
Right. Yes.
In the Bible, I'm a Christian. In the Bible, it says male and female made he them.
Yes.
He made we're the two sides of God for a Christian. When he separated them physically, he gave them the same commission. Be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, subdue it. So they had the same role. Now, as they began to operate,
okay, you know what?
The roles differed.
Let me take a break. I'll take a break and I'll be back and this conversation will end. Trust me. But it will continue again next week.
Welcome back to Conversations, TW Conversations. We're on the lounge and talking about feminism. I just asked a question and I
said repeat it.
That's everybody's. Question is, do we believe that men and women are equal?
I've already told you my own. No? She's also defending her. Or maybe you should talk.
I want to make a difference between equality and similarity.
Oh, okay. You see, mathematician equals to.
Equal is two human beings are equal.
Yeah.
Whether culture doesn't make them equal in each culture, it's a different thing, but we are equal. However, we are not totally similar.
We are dissimilar.
There are differences. That's why one is called a woman and one is called a man.
What do you think?
I agree.
Please bring out your dictionary. What do you think? Before she reads my dictionary.
We're equal, but we're not the same. We're not the same. We don't have the same... Yeah.
So are we using the term equality loosely? Let's see what the dictionary says equality is. And then we'll know whether we're defining it right. Because, you know, when we say equality, to me, what that means is, if there's something to be had, I shouldn't be denied it because I'm female.
Yes.
That's it.
Whatever it is. But there are some things that I can't do because I'm female.
Definitely.
And there are some things that he can't do that I'm female.
Correct.
Why would you want those things that you can't do because you're female? Why would you want them anyway?
That's the question you should ask the militant.
To be silly. Yes.
Equal.
We allow her to read because her eyes are still together. I will need my glasses.
Equal, the same in size, quantity, value, etc., as something else.
The same in size.
You see?
Yes, size, quantity, value.
It's value.
Having the same rights or being treated the same as other people without differences such as race, religion, or sex being considered. Yes, so equality is the sense of being equal.
But definitely we're not similar.
I think even though
I like her definition. We're not equal.
We are equal.
We're equal, but we're dissimilar. I'm a man. I can lift a boulder if I wanted to, a huge rock. you're a woman, you can't lift it.
If I built up my muscle, I probably could.
Yes, if you built up your muscle, yes, but you would look a little bit odd. You wouldn't look that feminine any longer. You'd have those curves. That doesn't make you that much attractive. Why would I want to be less attractive? I like
some
female.
men like those things, though.
Yes.
I don't know any man that
Basically,
which kind of men do you know?
You've been left with childbirth. There's nothing you can do about that.
Yes.
Like the tires.
But men don't have that chore of birthing children. And
well, you guys know that they're trying to get a man to get pregnant?
They're silly. That will never happen.
I read about a man who was pregnant.
Yeah,
it doesn't happen.
Yes, a couple.
Are you sure?
Yes, there was a man. He was was an hermaphrodite.
They don't have a uterus.
He's a hermaphrodite.
No, but I heard that.
He was a hermaphrodite.
On the morning show.
Stop. Come on.
Okay, feminism. So back to our topic.
Yeah. Kill the visual.
I believe that we are equal, but I think there's a hierarchy. In relationships, there's a hierarchy.
Depending on circumstance.
Yes.
Depending on circumstance.
And if I'm going to go back to, because I'm a Christian, I'm going to refer to my faith, where there's God, the man, and the woman. However, even before God, we're all the same. But there's a...
It's roles and responsibilities.
It's roles and responsibilities, yes.
And you know, and that is where culture begins to tweak these roles and responsibilities. Because no matter how hard my husband tried, he could never have breastfed my kids. So by virtue of that, if my children, he probably would. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. Men are fighting for the thing with their children, as you know. So the point is, if we realize that there's some things that we can't do and some things we can't do as women, right? Then we begin to recognize the fact that maybe our cry should be, give us equal rights. I have said it and I will say it again. When I come back to this world, if there's anything like that, I will still want to be a woman because my money is my money. His money is our money.
My husband does that sometimes.
That is me.
You can't be a feminist and say that.
I can. Because I'm a woman, I must be treated as a woman. Do you know how it is? I will take my father's name. Do you know my father's name?
That's another thing I want to...
Do you know my father's name?
I need to address that. Sorry. I know your father's name.
Okay, that's because you know.
But here's the thing, right? I think it's a cultural thing. Before the white man came, when a man, a Nigerian or African man married his wife, who was she? She was...
somebody's child.
In my language, they say, oh yeah,
that's it.
For example, my mother is Ovio Mori, the child of a Mori.
Yes.
You know,
even though you were married to...
Even though you were... your father's name?
I can hold on to any name I so choose.
No, but you see, the way you were saying, do you know my father's name?
Yes, because my father is down, but if you ever have to refer to me, you would think of Onye Nokwe. You would never know where I came from.
No,
so
but
I would rather say
that because of like his prominence. Or
no, I don't care if he's a plumber.
Equality, we lose our
so
father's name and they keep their name.
So why can't I? So I am a Desua, and that's good enough.
It appears to be that the enemy here is culture.
Culture as they do it.
Yes, because that's what's making everyone crazy and beginning to pick sides. Because if we took culture out, do you think we'll still have the same challenge we have with feminism now? If we took culture and threw it out of the window and said, you know what?
If you take the struggle out of it.
No. Take the struggle out of it. It would take the struggle out. I think it would take the struggle out of it.
Because who are we without our culture?
Because it's very subtle, but you have a situation where a man is having an argument with the woman and he says,
shut up, I'm the man.
Yes, I'm talking. Do you know I'm the man?
Okay.
I'm talking.
Or your driver will be arguing, say, I get your type for house.
Well, that day,
even if it's
on
not
mainland
saying
bridge,
it,
somebody's driver. The water will receive somebody's driver. I guess your wife,
not your driver.
Come down, let me beat him very well.
So I think those are the things. It is the way it is interpreted that women don't like. I mean, because if you talk about fight and militancy, even in Africa, even in Nigeria, people have read about women's riots.
Yes.
You know, these women walked, took off their tops. You've heard about Femi,
just tied their wrappers
Mrs. Ransom Kuti.
Yes.
You know, she's done that. So, but you see, our men are scared that we want to be men. And I will tell them quite confidently, I don't want to be a man.
We don't want to be men.
No.
I don't know if you want to be a man.
I don't want to be a man.
I don't want to be a man. No.
But I want my rights.
I want to be able to do things that help build.
Yes,
you know. Okay, what do you want? Let me just do it quickly. What do you want?
I want to be respected, you know, and I want
respect means?
Yeah, no, respect means like, you know, if I have an opinion, I want to be able to voice my opinion.
What do you want?
Same here, I want to be respected and heard.
Wow.
Yes.
What do you want?
I want the freedom to pursue my passions.
Okay, that's a
And fulfill my
And what were you
purpose.
saying?
I want equality in what society gives me, in what a man gives me.
Would you say you got equality growing up and up until today?
I was very, very lucky to have had my father.
Totally
I got equality.
So at the end of the day, it's back to the father, right? And again, I always trace it back to the mothers who raised the fathers. Because and the fathers, they take a cue from how their fathers behave to their mothers.
Yes,
and if you love your mother, at least if your father has been bad to your mother, don't do it to the woman that comes in. But then again, what if your son marries the woman that is a militant feminist and he says he should work at home and she's the one that is working at the other side? Food for another day. That's discussion for another day. Yes. There are some things we must take the repercussions of our actions. That's the point.
Yes.
When we want it this way, this is benefits. This is what happens. So on this note, I'd like us to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
We'll see you again in the lounge, having today's Woman TW Conversations, and we'll see you again next week.
This back.
If the Lord tarries, that is.
You have
No, they say that, oh, a Christian woman, how can you want to keep that is rebellion, and that is, and I say, before the Igbo man came to show their culture.
I think we should discuss that thing.
I like to have a compound.
Do you know why we should have a conversation around that? Because if you are traveling and you are going somewhere and you have your kids and you are bearing one name and your children are bearing another name, they will ask you, who is their father? You are giving grief.
You can't even travel without
that's a right permission now.
The father's
I think in South Africa they are doing that.
In every country, that's a right permission for the father to. If you're taking your children out of here and
out of Nigeria.
Yes, they have to give permission. The father has to give permission and say, "I've allowed."
No, if you're taking an underage,
a particular,
of course, it comes to the fore when there's trouble.
If they're under, when there's trouble, yes.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408, or send an email to marketing@PlusTvAfrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
You are one family.
There's no dream of this sport in Nigeria.
See how your body just dripping diamond.
As far as I'm concerned, I guess it's the lady. The lady is the sacrifice man. Because, okay, let's assume now, this morning, I have to be in the office by 8:30. So she have woken up before 4 a.m. I'm still sleeping by then. So she sacrificed her time to make dishes for me while coming to the office, you know. And some other things like that I cannot do easily if she's not there. So
well, the relationship is virtually about sacrifice. So, and both parties should be willing to make sacrifices. So there is no law that says the man must sacrifice for the woman or the woman must sacrifice for the man. Even among relationship of the same sex, normal friendship will still involve sacrifice.
I think both the husband and the wife, they make sacrifices for each other. And it is sacrifice that can even make both couples to be in relationship. Because without sacrifice, sometimes one can just say wants to back out. But both parties, they make sacrifice. And I cannot say one make more sacrifice than the other. So it all depends on the area where the sacrifices are being made.
And the reason why I conclude my own that is the man is that the man is the one that be the NG body, that is financially, spiritually, and in all aspects of life. He has to provide everything that is necessary to sustain the relationship.
It's a woman that make real sacrifice of marriage. She will be praying that God should sustain our husband, our home, and our children. So men will be looking for the money to please the wife and to pay for the school children. But women will be praying that God should give them life. There will be no death. Men are not, they don't believe on death. But women fear death too much. That's why we are always, if you see the congregation of the church, in the churches now, women are the ones that are much, because they are praying for God's sustaining of their marriages and their homes, on their children, and on their husbands, so that God should sustain them and bless their lives. So men are just looking for money. They don't pray. They don't believe that prayer is the one that sustains life, providing for house. But they depend on their labors. So that is why women are more so sacrifices on relationship.
That's a very, very cunning one. Because if I say a guy does, the ladies will be like, no. If I say a lady, the guys will be like, boy, you're a guy. But I would say both of them do sacrifice. But if you're to ask me who sacrificed the more, I would say it is the lady, because in most cases you see her doing more. Let me just, by doing, I believe you understand, doing more. Because ladies are more of a multitasker. They know how to multitask. But guys are more like the passive ones. So I guess the lady do sacrifice more in a relationship. Thank you.
There is no voting on social media. To vote, you would require a permanent voter's card. To get your PVC, visit cvr.inecnigeria.org. Create your account with a valid email address and start the registration process. An activation link will be sent to you. Click on the link and activate your account. Fill out the form, pick and submit a convenient date and time for your biometrics. Print the application slip, which should have your QR code. On the appointed date, go to the nearest INEC office for your biometric capturing. Thereafter, you will get a registration slip to pick your permanent voter's card when ready. Get your PVC today. This message is from PlusTvAfrica. On Plus News now, millions of Nigerians at risk as federal government orders telcos to bar outgoing calls on unlinked SIMs. Rwandan court upholds Hotel Rwanda hero's 25 years sentence. President Zelensky accuses Russia of genocide as Biden calls for war crimes trial. A very good evening to you. I'm Loretta Chiogo. This is News Now. Beginning from today, the 4th of April, erring Nigerians will be unable to make calls on their phones as the federal government has ordered telecommunication operators to bar all outgoing calls from unlinked SIM cards. NIN registrations were done at designated centers and thereafter linked to the SIMs through the channels provided by NIMC and the telcos. A social commentator, Bayomi Oke Ashiwaju, spoke to Plus TV News earlier in the day.
I'm not aware that people are being paid, people are being asked to pay to link their SIM. What we were aware of then was that to get registered, that is to get your name, national identification number, sometimes become tedious to the extent that some touts who log around registration centers offer to help, prospective registrants, and at the end of the day, they require them to pay one or two monies here and there. But NIMC have come out to say that this process is entirely free. If you can walk up to an accredited NIN registration center, you would definitely do this for free. But to pay to now link, that I'm not aware of, because to link is probably the most simplest thing to do. Through USSD code, you can link. There are different USSD code that has been assigned to different telcos, that is telecommunication operators, that they give out to their customers to use to link their SIM with their name. So I'm not sure money needs to exchange hands before that is done.
The whereabouts of at least 168 passengers on board the attacked Kaduna-bound train is still unknown. In a statement, the Nigerian Railway Corporation, NRC, mentioned that out of the 362 passengers on board the train when it was attacked, 186 had been confirmed safe and 8 persons dead. Meanwhile, some others are said to be in captivity of their abductors. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo is unhappy about the security challenges in the country, saying it is now becoming more overwhelming as Nigerians are no longer safe on the roads, in trains, or at the airports. The former president was speaking when he received a PDP presidential aspirant, Dr. Ugochukwu Williams.
It's not a situation where one man will say, yes, I have the solution, unless we are deceiving ourselves. And I believe that we need to sit down collectively, look at the situation. A situation where the train, you are not safe on the road. You are not safe in the train. You are not safe at the airport. Then what remains? And that is a very, very serious situation. So I wish you well. That's all I will say. I believe that all right-thinking Nigerians must know that we have a situation that has overwhelmed the present administration. But we should not allow that situation to overwhelm Nigeria.
Yes, if you look at the Nigerian today and Nigeria in the past, 1960, 1980, 1970, Nigeria was in a good state, it was led by the youth. And some of those youth are the people that we're calling the older generation today. We'll be bringing on board a new Nigerian, a new vibrant younger ones, the young technocrats who are doing well in their different fields, there will be a dynamic trend that will contribute their youthful age for the growth of the nation, which we are lacking today. If you check in agriculture, if you check in challenges of insecurity, we are going to bring change the architecture of security, bring in a more technology-driven way of securing Nigeria. It's not like doing the normal way we have been using which have not really solved a problem.
Meanwhile, responding to the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, is insisting that the Muhammadu Buhari-led administration is far from being overwhelmed by the security challenges in the country. Mohammed said the military and other security personnel were doing their best and have recorded success in their fight against terrorism. The minister assured Nigerians of the federal government's commitment to ensure that every state is secured. The General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, RCCG, Pastor Enoch Adeboye, has asked not to be joined to issues of politics. Speaking at the monthly Thanksgiving service, the GO spoke passionately about the spate of insecurity in Kaduna State.
Kaduna. You can't go to Kaduna by road. You can't go to Kaduna by air. They can attack you at the airport. You can't go to Kaduna by train. That brings so my mind, as a man who's a man of prayer. Question number one, why Kaduna? Question number two, who is trying to isolate Kaduna? Question number three, why? Question number four, after Kaduna, which next? Some of you are killing yourself about 2023.
A senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, has accused the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, and the Managing Director of the Nigerian Railway Corporation, Fida Tokiria, of negligence over the recent train attack. Mr. Falana, who's also calling for their prosecution, said the minister and the corporation as a whole did not take enough measures to forestall the latest incident and were legally bound to bear the cost of treatment for those injured in the attack. He said, contrary to claims by the NRC, that there was no fraud in the sales of train tickets. A ticket racketeering syndicate was arrested in 2019, and since then, the corporation has not been able to crack down on other syndicates operating in the Abuja, Kaduna, and Lagos-Ibadan train stations. The chief imam of Apo Legislative Quarters, Jumat Mosque in Abuja, Sheikh Nuru Khalid, has been sacked by the mosque's steering committee for criticizing President Muhammadu Buhari over Kaduna train attack. Sheikh Khalid was initially suspended by the steering committee of the mosque. The latest decision to sack him was said to be connected to his unwillingness to show remorse. Some youths have stormed the Bega area of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway demanding a better Nigeria. They made bonfires on both sides of the road, causing obstruction along the road and inner roads linking the highway. They carried banners with inscriptions as questions for politicians and religious leaders. What is the future of Nigeria? All highways in Nigeria are blocked. No movement nationwide. The protest, which was said lasted for about 1 hour, was put under control by security operatives. The governor of Anambra State, Chukwuma Soludo, has declared an end to the Monday sit-at-home in the state by offering amnesty to agitators still in hideouts. The governor tweeted on his official handle that a peace and reconciliation committee would be set up soon to address all areas of sincere challenge, including interfacing with the federal government on behalf of all prisoners of conscience. His words. Soludo restated his government's resolve to make the southeast state peaceful. And the former military leader of Nigeria, General Ibrahim Babangida, wants Nigerians to vote for a younger person with strength and vigor as the next president of the country. General Babangida, who received a historic visit to him by the Rivers State Governor and presidential aspirant of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Nyesom Wike, said that Nigeria would be better with a younger and more vibrant person. Babangida has always insisted that old politicians give way for younger ones. The former chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Adams Oshomole, is seeking to represent the people of Edo North Senatorial District in the upper chamber of the National Assembly. Oshomole, who made the declaration at an event to mark his 70th birthday, said he would consult with everybody in the senatorial district, including the incumbent Senator Francis Alimi Kena. And away from election matters, a federal high court in Abuja has fixed June 14 to hear a suit seeking to stop the federal government from extraditing the suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police, Abba Kyari. The presiding judge, Donatus Okorowo, adjourned the matter following the absence of all parties and the lack of legal representation for any of the parties. Consequently, Okorowo, who had earlier threatened to strike out the case for want of diligent prosecution, said he was willing to grant one more adjournment. He ordered the service of hearing notice on all the parties. Now, candidates who will be participating in the 2022 Unified Tertiary and Matriculation Mock Examination will have to pay the sum of 1,000 naira as service charge to the CBT centers where they have been assigned a seat for the examination. JAMB made this disclosure in its weekly bulletin, stating that it increased the service charge from 600 naira to 1,000 naira due to the high cost of diesel in the country. It also reiterated its stance that the mock examination was optional. The Court of Appeal sitting in Ado-Ekiti has upheld the judgment of the lower court and reinstated 86 employees of Ekiti State University, EXU, whose appointments were terminated. Delivering judgment in the appeal filed by EXU against the judgment of the National Industrial Court, Akure, Justice Abdulaziz Waziri dismissed the appeal and ordered the reinstatement of the employees with payment of their full benefits. 86 employees consisting of both academic and non-academic staff were unlawfully dismissed by the university on December 5th, 2019. We're now being joined by Christian Wogu, a legal practitioner here in Lagos. Now, Mr. Wogu,
I'm here.
A very good evening to you, and thanks for joining us on News Now.
You're welcome.
Now, while many see this judgment as victory for the employees who've been reinstated, let's take a look at what led to their sack. The management of the institution claimed that it was not able to sustain the payment of salaries anymore and then had to let some employees go. What does the law say about such an action?
Yes, you see, the employer has the right to actually lay off an employee, but due process has to be followed, and I'm sure that must be working in the mind of the court in the pronunciation they're making, because you see, the court has to regulate the economy. If the matter is not handled as well as it should be handled, a lot of employers would always find reasons to begin to just let people go. But fine, the university says it doesn't have capacity to pay, but they could really negotiate with this staff. They could get into some other kind of contracts, but just laying them off arbitrarily is not really supported by the law. And that's why the matter is getting positive responses from both the lower court and now the appeal court.
Now, just as you mentioned, the claimant also said the same thing, that there was no notification about letting them go, about terminating their appointment, even though the court has now ruled in favor of the employees. Looking at what they pass through outside employment, what should be done to the university in this stead?
No, I think the university right now, if you look at it very, very in-depthly, is even adding to its trauma, because they caught 50,000 naira to each of those employees, and that is 50,000 by 80, and that should approximately come to about 4,300,000 that they have to pay out. And then of course the court also says that they have to be paid their arrears of salary, 3 months backlog. So, well, the court can really take time to create a balance. So I'm thinking that what's working in the mind of the court is that these two are enough consequential issues for the university to grapple with.
Now, looking at the labor law, what really, should be the relationship when it comes to issues like termination of employment or even employing between the employer and the employee? What is really on ground on this subject matter?
Yeah, number one is, employment is regulated by contracts. That is why a lot of people insist on having some kind of contract to basically know that employment, because it is the contract paper that will tell what exactly will guide the employment. So in that case, the court will look at that very paper. But where it's not there, then the law has to take its way, and usually 1 month's notice or in lieu of notice should ordinarily suffice.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wogu, for joining us on News Now tonight.
Pleasure, ma'am. Pleasure.
And the news continues. The House of Representatives ad hoc committee on the state of refineries has issued a warning to stakeholders who failed to appear before it that preliminary parliamentary action would be taken against them if they fail to appear in the next sitting. Chairman of the ad hoc committee, Honorable Ganiu Johnson, pointed out that their lack of appearance was frustrating the committee's efforts. He expressed worry that despite the huge amount of money spent rehabilitating the country's 4 refineries, there's been no result till date. Meanwhile, the committee has insisted that refineries must work optimally in order to eliminate the need for subsidy.
This 4 trillion can be rechanneled to developmental projects if our refineries are working. So on that note, I want to say that NNPC and the operators of these refineries, this is the last opportunity you will have. I'm directing you that you should, by our next invitation, show up. Otherwise, we will take parliamentary action on NNPC and all the operators of the refineries, because we cannot continue.
Mr. Chairman, you may wish to find out why those that are running the plants that are key factors on this investigative hearing, and that of NNPC, why they are not here. And you may wish to even exercise your powers or make further recommendation to the House. We have no any man-hour to waste. Just as we should not be ready to waste the man-hours of the people leaving the office to come and join us as well here, if we are not going to get any tangible results.
Represented by 33 companies have been granted tax relief for 3 years by the federal government. Now, this is a pioneer status under the Industrial Development Income Tax Act of 2021. This was contained in the quarterly report released by the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission. The report revealed that investments made by the 33 companies during the year amounted to 543.88 billion naira. It also noted that the government declined the application submitted by 10 investing firms, including the popular fintech Flutterwave, during the review period. The pioneer status is an incentive offered by the federal government, which exempts companies from paying income tax for a certain period. The tax exemption can be full or partial. The incentive is generally regarded as an industrial measure aimed at stimulating investments in the country. Joining us live via Zoom is Folusho Fashoto, the former president, Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, CITN. Glad to have you, Mr. Fashoto. I hope I pronounced that name properly.
You really tried. Good evening, viewers.
Thank you for joining us. Now, good news for the lucky 33 companies who would now be on tax holiday. But what does this move portend for a nation already in so much debt and infrastructure deficit?
Well, this scheme has been on since the year 1971. It's actually under the Industrial Development Income Tax Relief Act, which is currently in operation. The 33 companies, they scaled the hurdle because further in that your report, we are having some companies whose applications were rejected and many more companies whose applications are still pending. The objective of granting them such application is to stimulate investment in the country and then to boost the infrastructure facilities in the country. The problem that has plagued this scheme in the past is that whenever such applications are granted, majority of the companies, they go on those tax holidays without utilizing the benefits of the tax holiday for the purpose for which those applications were granted. Meaning that they will make profit, they will not pay tax, and they will repatriate such profits out of the country. During the era of President Olusegun Obasanjo, as well as President Goodluck Jonathan, we had the then coordinating Minister of Finance, who cried out that there must be evaluation of the incentives being given to those pioneer companies, because government was losing revenue by way of tax waivers, by way of tax holidays, yet Nigeria was not getting the benefits. I just hope that the 33 companies that have just been granted 3-year tax relief, we will see the benefits of the investment in the country and the plowing back of the profits they must have made. The way it operates is that after the first 3 years, if their operation is satisfactory, then government can still renew for another 2 years. That's what the law says.
Okay, now looking at the tax incentive, would it really stimulate investment as it ought to?
That is actually the purpose You know, for such companies to have been granted pioneer status, they must have been operating under certain conditions that are not conducive to the economic requirements of Nigeria. Maybe they are operating in rural areas where we don't have electricity supply, so they have to provide their own energy supply. They have to provide their infrastructure. So the money spent on such infrastructure is to be, the problem of such money should be alleviated by the tax relief period, so that the company will have enough time to start making profit. Because initially, it may not be easy for such companies to make profits. And the law provides that even if it is lost, they may throughout the 3 years. The government, if the relevant tax authority, in this case, the Federal Inland Revenue, is satisfied, they will give them certificate and they will be able to recoup such losses from the subsequent profit they are making after the pioneer period. The pioneer period is, in the first instance, 3 years, then thereafter renewable for 2 years if there is evidence of satisfactory performance. So we expect the investments to be stimulated in the country. Infrastructure, the rural development is supposed to be noticeable by the relevant people. And we believe that Nigerians will be better for it if only we can monitor the benefits derived by these companies to which the tax relief period have been granted.
Now, looking at the report in itself, the 33 companies during the year under review, also made investment of about 543.88 billion naira. But that is not felt in the country as we speak.
As I said, such investments might not have been in the urban centers. That is one. Then two, we need the evidence that the government actually monitor the operations of those companies.
That's right.
Mind you, these companies, they were granted pioneer status during the year ended 31st December 2021. So they are like maybe 1 year into their pioneer period. So we still have 2 more years. This investment might be at the initial stage. They are ordered for the equipment, they are installing such equipment, and so on and so forth. But I think that at the end of the 3rd year, the country should be able to feel the effect of such huge investments.
Now, one of the companies whose application for tax holiday was declined is a fintech, Flutterwave. And we do understand that as of February 2022, Flutterwave disclosed that its valuation rose to $3 billion. And after it was able to raise $250 million from a series of funding. I'm just wondering, what could be your own review of what has just taken place?
Well, granting the pioneer status is not solely dependent on the amount of the investment, but rather whether such product or such industry qualify as pioneer industry or pioneer product. The conditions under which such pioneer status will be granted must be that it must be expedient in the public interest to encourage the development or establishment of such an industry in Nigeria. For example, such companies whose applications were denied, maybe we are already having similar investment in the country. So in that case, they will not be qualified for pioneer status.
Thank you so much, Mr. President.
The second condition should be that if such business is being carried out on a scale not suitable to the economic requirements of Nigeria. So if maybe they establish in an urban area, I'm just giving that as an example, where you are having all the resources, all the water, the infrastructure, they will not qualify for pioneer status, irrespective of the amount of investment they must have made.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fashuto. Thank you for joining us on News Now to discuss this.
Pleasure.
The Lagos State Commissioner for Health, Aki Abayomi, has said that the state conducted 1.162 million valid COVID-19 sample tests since the inception of the pandemic. Abayomi, who made the disclosure while giving the state's COVID-19 update for March the 20th to March the 30th, said that 17,487 tests were conducted within the reported dates, and that the positivity rate of the infection was 1.9% as of the 30th of March. According to him, the state recorded 109 new COVID-19 infections within the reported days, increasing the number of confirmed cases in the state to 99,387. The Chief Judge of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, and Chairman, FCT Judicial Service Committee, Justice Hussein Baba Yusuf, wants access to justice for victims of health rights violations to be on the front burner in Nigeria. Is said this during a human rights sensitization and legal training workshop on tuberculosis organized by Lawyers Alert, a non-governmental human rights organization.
Represented by Judge of the FCT High Court, Justice Olukayode Adeniyi, the Chief Judge noted that the international human rights law provision is justified and universally supported, recognizing and safeguarding human rights to ensure healthy living.
The Constitution as it is, even though has not specifically recognized rights to health as a fundamental right, but I believe the judiciary can proactively expand the Constitution and interpret the Constitution in such a way to include rights to freedom from discrimination on grounds of health as part of our fundamental rights in this country.
Director and coordinator of the National Tuberculosis, Leprosy and Buruli Ulcer Control Program at the Federal Ministry of Health, Dr. Chukwuma Anyike, said the program is aimed at making Nigeria free of tuberculosis.
The National Tuberculosis, Leprosy and Buruli Ulcer Control has the mandate to make Nigeria free of tuberculosis, to save lives, to kick out tuberculosis in the country. And all what we have been doing is basically on two strategies: improve on prevention, improve on the diagnostic, and improve on our treatment, making sure that people are retained in care for absolute cure, which is the sure way of cutting the chain of infection.
President of Lawyers Alert, Romi Mom, called on the executive and legislative arms of government in the country to ensure adequate funding for the initiatives and programs put in place to end tuberculosis in Nigeria.
Our parliamentarians, the National Assembly, including the executive, need to channel more resources into TB work. We need to resource TB work. It's about allocations, it's about implementations, it's about release of funding and all of that. We have, for example, the Human Rights Action Plan that has been put together by stakeholders. This action plan needs budgeting, it needs resources for implementation. This is very key if we're going to talk about gender and human rights-based approach.
A tuberculosis survivor, Olufunke Dosumu, said the discrimination and stigmatization that many TB patients experience at the hands of health workers make them abandon the treatment.
There is need for every TB patient to know their rights as regards stigma and discrimination. In my own case, I wasn't stigmatized by my family. I had a lot of care and support from my family. But in some cases, when TB patients want to access health treatment, they get stigmatized and discriminated by some health workers, which will not give them the encouragement to go back for treatment. So there is need for more advocacy and creating of awareness as regards tuberculosis.
The training had in attendance lawyers, journalists, and persons affected by TB.
The Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has disclosed that the death toll from Lassa fever in the country has risen to 127 after 4 more infected patients lost the battle to the disease. NCDC, in its latest situation report on the management of the outbreak of the disease in the country, stated that cumulatively from week 1 to week 12, a case fatality rate of 18.6% had been recorded, which was lower than the 21.3% for the same period in 2021. The Lassa virus is transmitted by infected multi-mammate rats, and humans become infected from direct contact with the urine and feces of the rat carrying the virus. As power supply continues to get worse, Nigerians speak out in anger. That's on Street Views. Take a listen.
I burn generator from almost on daily basis. I mean, by the time I calculate the money I spend for fuel on daily basis, I honestly tell myself the truth that this power issue is something else. It's really dealing with us Nigerians.
This thing is affecting so many companies. My daughter has a company. I know how many fuel we run every day. People that cannot afford such, they end up packing up and going to other countries. Can I say in a month we'll have like 3 times? Is that power supply? So every day I burn fuel. Every day I buy fuel 2,000 in my house.
It's very ridiculous. We are being cheated. There is no light. I live at Ikoyi. They don't give us light. Like 3 times a week, and it's about 2 to 3 hours, and it's gone. There is money in this country, but we don't know where the money is going to. No water, no light, no good roads. What can we do?
It's affecting me. It's affecting me. See me as I'm sweating. If I bath finish like this, I begin sweating. In the evening, sweating. Midnight, sweating. All my children, they are sick now. No lights, and they are still bring the bill. Where is the money? And now, the bill is high. What are we using? Fan, television. So it's finished. I'm fit. I'm not using the oven. I'm not using washing machine. And they are bringing crazy bill for what? And no light. We are suffering from this Nigeria.
There is no light in my area. No single light. But we are paying for light, but we never see light. Sometimes, once in 2 weeks. Sometimes you will not even see it.
Still ahead, long queues as fuel crisis persists in Kenya. Details when we return.
Creative Industry Power presents one event, 4 locations, 7 days, 10 countries, 168 hours of fun in the city of Lagos. It's the Creative Industry Festival, C-Fest, from the 1st of May to the 7th of May, 2022. Get ready to rock and be rocked the creative way. For more details, visit www.festival.creativeindustrygroup.ng.com. For advert bookings and exhibition stands, call 0913-569-9010. Maximum security guaranteed. C-Fest 2022, powered by Creative Industry Power. Supported by PlusAfrica TV.
Life can be fun and rewarding, but it also comes with some risk. As in business, you win some, you lose some. And that's why you need to be wise in the choices you make. It's like placing a bet. Again, you need to be wise. Wise in choosing an innovative platform with the highest market options and highest odds ever. That's why Winners Golden Bet, the leader in online, in-shop, virtual, and live sports betting, gives you enhanced platforms that offer you the best chances of winning. For betting on live soccer matches, live dog races, and virtual games. Winners Golden Bet is your best bet. Instant payment on winnings guaranteed. Play online or in any of our numerous shops nearest to you.
Hey guys, be wise. Play on Winners Golden Bet.
Winners Golden Bet, the wise choice.
And from other parts of Africa, a Rwandan appeal court has upheld a 25-year jail sentence for Paul Rusesabagina, who was portrayed in the movie Hotel Rwanda, sheltering hundreds of people during the 1994 genocide, rejecting a bid to extend it to life in prison. The 67-year-old was convicted in September on 8 terrorism charges related to the activities of an organization opposed to President Paul Kagame's rule. He has denied all the charges and refused to take part in the trial, which he and his supporters denounced as a politically motivated sham. The first trial addressing atrocities in Darfur will open at the International Criminal Court on Tuesday, nearly 20 years after the Sudanese region was racked by widespread violence that left hundreds of thousands dead. Suspected former Janjaweed militia leader Ali Muhammad Ali Abdurrahman faces 31 counts of war crimes and crimes against humanity, including persecution, murder, rape, and torture. Sudanese human rights lawyer Mossad Muhammad Ali of the African Center for Justice and Peace Studies said Tuesday will be a momentous day for victims and survivors in Darfur who never stopped fighting to see the day the cycle of impunity is broken. The United States has expressed concern over an extremely disturbing report that many people had been killed in central Mali last week. It said in a statement that there were some conflicting accounts on the reported massacre, blaming the unaccountable Russian Wagner group for many civilian deaths, while others pointed to the Malian armed forces targeting violent groups. The State Department said there was a need for the Malian transitional authorities to allow impartial investigations into the tragic events. A nationwide fuel shortage continues to bite in Kenya, with major towns reporting long queues at the few filling stations that have the commodity. There are conflicting reasons as to why the shortage is being experienced. President Uhuru Kenyatta says it is due to the global crisis occasioned by Russia's invasion of Ukraine, while the national oil storage company Kenya Pipeline says there is enough stock, and the regulator EPRA warning any company hoarding the oil with deregulation. Outside Africa, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that the deaths of Ukrainians in Bucha constituted genocide by Russian troops. Zelensky spoke to journalists from the town of Bucha in Kyiv region, where tight bodies shot at close range, a mass grave, and other signs of executions have been found in territory retaken from Russian troops. Moscow has denied any accusations related to the killing of civilians in Bucha. Meanwhile, U.S. President Joe Biden has called Russian President Vladimir Putin a war criminal and said he would call for a war crimes trial as a global outcry mounted over civilian killings in the Ukrainian town of Bucha. Biden told reporters He returned to Washington after spending the weekend in Delaware.
I remember I got criticized for calling Putin a war criminal. Well, the truth of the matter, you saw what happened in Bucha. This warrants him, he is a war criminal. But we have to gather the information. We have to continue to provide Ukraine with the weapons they need to continue the fight. And we have to gather all the detail so this can be have a war crime trial. This guy is brutal. And what's happening in Bucha is outrageous. And everyone's seen it. Up to Allah. No, I think it is a war crime.
What are you going to do about it, sir? Are you going to do more sanctions on Russia?
I'm seeking more sanctions, yes. I'll have time to announce that to you.
Can you actually hold Putin accountable, though? You called him a war criminal.
He should be held accountable.
Without sanctions?
Well, no.
What else can you do?
No. Go the war crime tribunal. Yes, I'm going to continue to add sanctions. Thank you.
Coming up next, federal government says 2 million people will receive 20 billion naira monthly from June. That's in business news after the short break.
And in business news, the federal government borrowed 2.2 trillion naira from local investors in the first quarter of the year through FGN bonds, treasury bills, and the FGN saving bonds. And this is part of efforts to fund the 6.4 trillion naira deficit spending in 2022 budget. And this represents an 8.6% decline when compared to 2.4 trillion naira, representing 8.6% year-on-year decline from 2.43 trillion naira sold in the first quarter of 2021. But the federal government also paid local investors 827 billion naira for loans through matured treasury bills, resulting in net borrowing of 1.93 trillion naira from local investors in the first quarter of 2022. And amid CBN interventions, Naira depreciates by 22 Naira on black market, despite multiple interventions by the CBN to defend the Naira. The Naira fell by 22 Naira in the first quarter of 2022. At the official investors and exporters I&E market, the Naira US dollar exchange rate has remained constant at 417 Naira per dollar. The black market, on the other hand, has maintained its bearish trend, pushing the Naira towards 600 Naira to a dollar. To safeguard the Naira, the central bank has implemented a plethora of restrictions ranging from prohibiting the selling of dollars to BDCs to prohibiting the broadcast of black market rates. The plan by the CBN to reduce wheat imports by 60% in 2 years under its import substitution program may suffer a setback as its cost rises. It's been reported that the price of the grain has gone up by 14.6% from $420 to $492 per metric ton in the last few weeks. Millers have ordered 1.75 trillion naira, which is about $3.14 billion, wheat to meet industrial and domestic demands. It was gathered that importers' demand for the grain had gone up from 5.5 million tons last year to 6.4 million tons this year, leading to an increase of 15.4% or 990,000 tons. The CBN has warned banks to stop including mutilated currency notes in their deposits or risk paying a penalty of 400% of the value of the banknote. The CBN gave the warning in a circular titled Issued to All Deposit Money Banks on March 31. And this is because the existence of such banknotes in the economy falsifies the true value of the currency in circulation and could also be an avenue for fraudulent activities. And 2 million people will start receiving about 20 billion naira from June this year as basic cash transfers and conditional cash transfers under the National Cash Transfer Program. The federal government will pay the 2 million people 5,000 naira each. Over time, the number of people receiving cash transfers from the government has been increasing. In 2018, a total of 19 states were covered under the National Cash Transfer Program, and this increased to 24 states in 2019 and moved up to 36 states and the FCT in 2022, covering 1.6 million people under the cash transfer scheme. The federal government supports poor and vulnerable households with cash on a monthly basis. And that's business news. Thanks for watching. I am Destiny Mama. The news continues.
And entertainment news is up next.
Cardi B has deleted a Twitter account shortly after tweeting that she would. On Sunday, Cardi and some of her fans clashed on social media because she didn't attend the Grammys. Some of the fans started including her children in the bashing spree, and that was when she tweeted she was deleting her account. Cardi took to Instagram Live shortly after deleting her Twitter to explain why she got really irritated. Snoop Dogg has expressed his disappointment at the Grammys. He was nominated for 19 awards, but didn't get any. That got him really upset. Turning to his Instagram page, he wrote, "Grammys, 19 nominations, no wins, thanks." Kanye West has matched Jay-Z as the rapper with the most Grammy awards in history. Kanye won the award for Best Melodic Rap Performance for his song Hurricane, and also won Best Rap Song for Jill. That's a song he featured Jay-Z in, giving him a career total of 24 Grammys. He was nominated for 4 other categories, including the 2 Best Rap Album nominations for Thunder Album of the Year and Best Rap Song for Jill. With this win, Kanye West officially ties Jay-Z for the same number of Grammys received amongst hip-hop artists. They both have 22 awards individually. Wisdom Macaulay has taken to Instagram to apologize to his sister Annie Macaulay Idibia for the accusations he made against her online. He apologized to the Macaulay family, the Idibia family, his in-laws, his wife, and to Nigerians. He said his sister is not on drugs and he has never seen her with drugs. He added that he is just going through depression, hence his behavior.
And finally, on tonight's news is sports.
Hello and welcome to Sports News on Plus TV Africa. The Ministry of Youth and Sports Development has announced that Team Nigeria is set to join 71 other nations and territories in Birmingham, UK, to participate at the 2022 Commonwealth Games, which will take place from July 28th to August 8th this year. Athletics, boxing, judo, para-athletics, para-powerlifting, para-table tennis, weightlifting, and wrestling are among the events in which Team Nigeria will compete. Mohammed Manga, Director of Press and Public Relations for the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, announced this in a press statement, saying athletes will be called to camp next month in various locations under the supervision of trained coaches and other athlete support personnel. Trials for the selection of eligible athletes in their respective sports disciplines will be completed on or before April 25th, 2022. Now, free agent quarterback Colin Kaepernick's pursuit of a return to the National Football League continued on Saturday when he took part in a throw-in exhibition during halftime of the University of Michigan's spring game. Draft-eligible players caught passes from Kaepernick, and NFL team personnel in attendance watched him in action. The former San Francisco 49ers quarterback said he wanted to show teams he was still able to play after 5 years out of the game. Kaepernick, who has been unable to find a team to sign him since 2017, was among the first players to kneel during the pre-game playing of the U.S. national anthem to protest the extrajudicial killings of black people by police.
Really getting out here today for the exhibition was to be able to show that I can do that. It was one of the questions that my agent kept getting was, well, it's been 5 years, can he still play? So we want to make sure that we come out, we show everyone I can still play, still throw it, and really just looking for an opportunity for a door to open, to have that be a pathway to be able to get back in there, get a starting job and lead a team to a championship. I can help make you a better team. I can help you win games. You know, I know right now the situation likely won't allow me to come in, step into a starting role. I know I'll be able to work my way to that, though, and show that very quickly. So to the teams that have questions, more than anything, I would say, you know, I'd love to come in for a workout. I'd love to sit down with you and have that conversation about how I can help you be a better team.
Netherlands coach Louis van Gaal said on Sunday, April 3rd, that he is battling prostate cancer. Speaking on Dutch television show Hubbard, the 70-year-old former Manchester United and Barcelona manager revealed his diagnosis, but declared he plans to carry on in his role. In his third spell as Netherlands coach, Van Gaal has guided his country to the World Cup in Qatar, where they will face the hosts Senegal and Ecuador in the group stages later this year. His management career has spanned almost 4 decades. Van Gaal has won league titles with Barcelona, Ajax Amsterdam, Bayern Munich, AZ Alkmaar. He spent 2 seasons at Manchester United, leading the club to an FA Cup triumph in 2016 before being sacked days later. And that's all the sports news we have for you for now. Join us next time. My name is Mikhail Tinubu. Have a good night.
And the main news again. Millions of Nigerians at risk as federal government orders telcos to bar outgoing calls on unlinked SIMs. Rwandan court upholds Hotel Rwanda hero's 25-year sentence. Ukrainian President Zelensky accuses Russia of genocide as Biden calls for war crimes trial. And that's news now. For more stories, please follow us at PlusTV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at PlusTvAfrica and PlusTvAfrica Lifestyle. I'm Loretta Chiogo. Do have a wonderful night rest. Good night.